We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Ooh, we're back. We're back.
What's up, everybody?
Coco,
Oh, Lord. Our dogs are in
Come
the
here.
room.
come here. What are you eating?
Our dogs are in the room and are trying to interfere with our lives.
What is this? String? Get out of here with that.
Puppies. What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
It's your girl, Angela,
And this is Lamar.
and we are Lamar and Angela, two expats living in Mexico who
Yeah,
decided back in 2022 that we had it.
had it.
With the United States. That's what it clear.
Had it. I was checking my mic.
Oh, okay.
It was
Okay.
sticking up. But yeah, we had enough.
We are done, finito, and decided to pack up everything.
Not quite everything. We sold stuff.
That's true. We got rid of a lot of stuff
stuff.
and came to Mexico, drove from Maryland to Mexico with our two children, technically three, and two dogs.
Now we have three.
Well, true. Very true.
We have three.
Very true. And so we are always coming to you live on the first
So
of the month.
Go ahead and do it. It's the first of the month.
Hey.
It's the first of the month.
Hey.
It's a great picture.
You still don't get it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's the first of the month, and
Yes.
we come live to you every month. Although last month we were not live because this guy was racing.
Yeah.
That was his race, his huge race.
Yeah, it
weekend.
was the
Hello,
first Serpent Challenge
Hello, Louie. Louie
here
wants
in-
to say hi to you guys.
in Mexico. And
Okay, you did.
Guys,
Thank you. Nope.
Jose Almonte was here, and other top drivers were here. And
Mm-hmm.
it was fun, interesting weekend.
Yes.
I learned a lot, had some challenges,
Yes.
and I bumped up from the B main to the A main,
Yes.
and I actually came in fourth with all those hot drivers. Can you believe it? Wow.
Right. It was a race that a lot of people came from outside of the country
Yes.
to come to.
Puerto
So-
Rico, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, where else? Of course, United States.
I thought there was somebody from Panama.
They were Panama. So there was quite a few international pilots, as I would say here, pilots here,
Indeed.
and it was a good time. It was fun. It was hot that weekend,
Yay.
but it was fun. It was fun.
Yes.
And I'm actually racing this weekend.
Yes. This is the race season. I am a race widow.
Oh my goodness.
But listen, we are so glad that you guys tuned in to check us out. Do us a favor, hit that like button so that lets the algorithm know that you want to see more content from us.
Yes.
And we will endeavor to put out more for you. But lately, your girl and your guy have just been living.
Yes, absolutely.
Living. So if you tuned into this episode,
Yeah.
one of the questions Lamar and I get
A lot.
all the time. You keep doing that.
Do what?
You're a parrot.
No.
One of the questions we get all the time is about moving to Mexico with your kids. Because to be honest with you, when we were looking and exploring the concept or moving to Mexico, I saw a lot of YouTube videos, lots of YouTube videos about moving, and it was just one person, or it was a couple, or it was if they had kids, the kids were usually like toddlers or babies.
Right.
They weren't even in elementary school.
Yeah,
at that time.
backpackers, 1-2 suitcases and out, kind of deal. Not doing what we did, which was to not only, we had 2 teenage children,
Mm-hmm.
2 dogs, however, and we had things that we wanted to bring. Because one of the reasons we came here was for my hobby,
Right.
and you brought your hobbies.
Right. There were always people who tended to sell off everything that they had and just 2 suitcases and a backpack and a baby maybe, a baby maybe, and move to Mexico. Well, that wasn't our experience.
Yeah.
That was not our experience.
No.
But we wanted to reflect and give a insight to what the actual process was. And 9 times out of 10, when we used to watch videos, or we were looking at that time, it's changed. Well, no, it's still kind of the same. You would always see videos of people who, after the fact, after they had moved, after they had gone through the down, dirty, and ugly of getting rid of stuff, downsizing, selling off stuff, all those kinds of things. And after they had already made the decision to leave, not the during process. So if you were ever curious about what it's really like to get rid of everything or to sell things and to move abroad with family and children and dogs, check out our playlist, because we decided to videotape the entire thing.
And also follow us on Facebook, because we also post a lot of these videos during the week as replays, so that you can have an opportunity to watch these videos and glean some information from them.
Right. And so one of the things that we offered then and we endeavor to do now is to give you the real skinny, to give you the real deal about the situation. And like I said, one of the things that we get asked a lot is, how do I, or first of all, should I move to Mexico or move abroad with my children? Should I? The answer, it depends.
Yeah, it depends.
It depends.
For sure.
I would say it depends. And in this video, we're going to outline all the reasons why we're saying it depends. Before we start that, take a moment in the comments. Let us know where you're watching us from. We have enjoyed having comments from people all over the world, from Australia, from Canada, from Portugal, and of course the United States. Let us know where you're chiming in from. So, when we were making the decision to move, our oldest was 27? No, 26. 26. She was 26. She was 26. Our son was 16, or no, 17, and our daughter was 16. Yeah. So that's right. That's right. And so we were at that time trying to decide whether, or we didn't even, it wasn't even like a serious thing that we had to sit down with our kids. My first measure of advice would be, you need to know your kids in terms of whether or not they would be able to handle something like a move abroad. And I say that because our oldest daughter and our youngest daughter at that time, they both were like, let's go, rock on, dude, rock on, They were like, let's go. Our son was the one that kind of was like,
yeah, it's that teenager, I'm in high school, I don't want to leave my friends, I don't want to leave this place, is familiar to me, we're going somewhere strange, food's different, they don't speak English, all this kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm actually watching The Karate Kid with Jaden Smith. And in the beginning of that movie, he was like, I gotta go to China, I gotta move. And it was all necessary because mom had gotten transferred.
Right.
And so there's that kind of thing is kind of like, you can't leave a minor. And if you don't have the help of an adult, And if you don't
Can't
have
leave teenagers.
a relative that says, I'll let them stay here with me,
Mhm.
let them finish out high school, which we didn't have. And this was actually when we were moving, it was actually at the tail end of the pandemic.
Right. And so that is one of the things that worked for us in our favor. The pandemic had been going on for the past couple of years, and we moved in 2022.
Mhm.
Of course, the pandemic was in 20 and 21.
And it was kind of closing out a little bit
By the end of 22,
yeah.
or by the
Because I was at DISA, I was still wearing a mask,
right,
because it was required.
Right. And so for both of our kids, they were in a high school and middle school. It was a combination, middle and high school, a charter school that was math and technology centered.
Yes.
And all of their instruction, all of their books, all of their assignments were always done electronically. The only thing they had was actually in-person instruction. And when the pandemic happened, it just was like one monkey don't stop no show. We just go to being online and you still turn in your work the same way. So that worked in our favor in terms of our kids' education, because for those previous years, and for our youngest in particular, her entry into high school, her whole experience was always online. So when we made the decision to move, we were looking at that as a factor. It wasn't like they weren't that heavily, I won't say invested, so to speak, in their local school. We had just moved to a new neighborhood at that point in time, just like maybe the 2 years before.
Yes.
And right when the pandemic began.
Yeah, 2020.
And
summer of 2020.
Right. And they weren't really invested in the school that much because of the pandemic and all of those kinds of things. So that actually worked in our favor. And when I also mentioned that you need to know your kids to know whether or not they have the capacity to grow, to adapt, to change. Our oldest, not a problem. When we made the announcement that we're moving, she was like, I'm going with.
Well,
hello.
And that takes a little bit of knowledge of what was going on, or experience, or be paying attention. Because a lot of kids don't pay attention to current events and what's going on.
Very true.
Because for me, in January of 2021,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, heck with this. This is, because you all know what happened in early January 2021, the insurrection. And I was absolutely exhausted. I was exhausted hearing about all these things.
Because we were coming from the DC area.
Right.
We were right in the heart of the mess.
Absolutely. And so kids, even now, our son isn't paying attention to what's going on. So if you have a child that's not paying attention to what's going on, they don't have a gauge for the importance or the necessity of possibly changing locations.
Yeah. So for like I mentioned, the girls were rock on, let's go, yes, an adventure, let's move, that type of thing. Our son was more reluctant, just because, and I say again, know your kid. He just is someone who does not like change. He just doesn't like it. And one of the things that I really wanted to expose him to was a new way of thinking. He's very much, sometimes can be a in the box kind of small
tunnel vision,
right?
Kind of, this is all I see. I don't see anything
That's
else.
all I've never thought of outside the box, that type of thing. So I had a talk with him when we were talking about moving, and I said to him, I understand this will be your last year in high school, and after that you're going to go off and go to college and all that kind of thing. But before you do, I really want to show you another side of life. another aspect of the world. The world is so big, so vast, so huge. I just want to show you something. And so I made a deal with him and said, listen, just give me a year. Just give me a year, 1 year. I just want to show you and just expand your mind to concepts or life or cultures outside of this little box that you've drawn. And give me 1 year. And at the end of the year, when you graduate from high school and you're ready to go on to college, if you want to go off to college and go back to the United States, I will drive you myself to go. But just keep an open mind and see what I just want to show you some things. And oddly, not even oddly, surprisingly enough for him, not surprising to me, but surprisingly enough for him, maybe it was we moved here at the 1st of July. We actually got here to Mexico at the end of June, but we officially call it the 1st of July. And by October, he was like, wow, Mom, this is great. This is awesome. So,
yeah, it sometimes you have to get someone to good example was yesterday. Our soon-to-be son-in-law.
Oh yeah.
His first time having French toast. And so it's not that he was so much reluctant, he just never had it. And once he tasted it, he was like, ooh, I like this.
He's Mexican.
Yeah, and so those kind of experiences sometimes require someone to actually put their pinky toe in the water.
Step outside of their comfort zone. You really got to know if your kid is a comfort zone-ish kind of kid, or if they really are going to push back.
Yeah. So he started to like the environment and things like that. One of the things he didn't make an effort to do was grasp the language.
Yes, we'll talk about that next.
Yeah.
The second thing that I would say, and I always say in terms of advice, if you are interested in moving abroad with your kids, depends. It also depends on their age. It depends on their age. If they're babies, if they're young, go do it.
Right.
Whatever. Rock on. If they are in middle school, it's the middle schooler, high schoolers that are the ones that typically give you pause. But I will say that moving to Mexico with your younger children, elementary school aged children, can be a fantastic experience because kids have the wonderful ability to be able to adapt. They pick up the language just like that.
Our friends down the street, their sons, they came here as preteen, teen, early teen. And when you hear them speak, it's almost native.
Right.
It's almost native speakers. They read Spanish very well. They speak it very well.
So they came here as middle schoolers, one at the tail end of elementary school, and now one is graduating from high school, the other is entering high school, or he's in high school.
Yeah.
And fluent.
Yes.
Dang near fluent. Can very well speak, have no problem with both English, which is a great, fantastic thing.
Yeah, because even if they decided to go back to the United States, you speak 2 languages, and both languages are the predominant languages of the United States, Spanish and English. And actually, I think that sometimes Spanish may be overtaking English sometimes.
Depending on the area, yeah.
Yeah.
And it works really great for them in terms of being able to communicate or what have you. Right. So coming as a child is absolutely great. And that same couple that we were talking about, if you're watching, hey y'all, we talking about you, have now their grandson with them who is elementary school age, and he is flourishing as well.
Yes, he's doing really well. He's enjoying school. Every time I ask him, how's school? And he says, it's great. I'm having fun. Right. How's Spanish? I'm getting him. He's starting to, because half the day they speak English, half the day they speak Spanish.
Yes. And we gave our kids the opportunity and choice to be able to select whether or not they wanted to attend in-person school or do an online school that was back in the States. We gave them that choice because we just really wanted them to be able to acclimate, or and truthfully, for my end, it was a mama bear thing that wherever one goes, the other must go. I'm not driving one to one side of the town and the other to the other side of town. We're not doing that.
So y'all put your heads together and figure out which one you like the most, and we'll take you there.
Here are the options to choose from, as well as an online school. There, choose wisely. Talk amongst yourselves, and let us know.
They have great schools here. They have wonderful schools here that have education that I believe far exceeds what a lot of kids get in the United States.
A lot of the education is very good here in Querétaro. So they chose an online school, and they both did very well. Like we mentioned before, they were all of their instruction was already online, coming from the pandemic, and then moving straight into this. They just picked up right where they went on. Our youngest graduated with honors with a 4.3 GPA because she was able to do exceedingly well.
Yeah, and what helped that is that the online school was more about proficiency and mastery of the subject matter versus just do this and check the box.
Right.
It was, they wanted you to really, really get it into you, and that made a huge difference.
I guess it's number 3. The third thing that I would say in terms of people who are asking if they should bring their kids, it really depends on your family situation, your home situation, wherever you're from, wherever you live, or what have you. What are the relations like? Is there a strong, cohesive family unit with lots of cousins and aunties and uncles and grandma and grandpa and all of that kind of thing surrounding them, and they would be really pulled away from that? Is this going to be a temporary kind of thing that we're just going to do this for a year or maybe 2 years and then we're coming back? That is a huge factor in terms of whether or not you should or shouldn't. I know for us, our decision was kind of made easier in a sense by the fact that both of our parents had gone to glory.
Yes.
Both sets of parents. So all we had left was, my sister, my brother
and sister.
Right. And we were like, y'all can get a passport and travel.
Right.
And y'all can come down and see us.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
And my family has children. My sisters and brother.
Mine don't. So I don't have any nieces and nephews.
Right. So they didn't really have, on his side, didn't really have all that much in terms of lots of cousins. They didn't have any cousins that they were like, oh, I'm going to miss my cousins. And on my side, our kids are the youngest. So all of the cousins are grown.
Yes, they were.
All of them are grown. So our kids are we were in a family position that we could make this move and it wouldn't really disrupt the family in such a major way.
Right.
And we've even had family have come down to visit and see us, and that's been nice. That's been great. What would you say on your side of the family would have happened if we would have gone when your parents were alive?
If my mom would have probably took a leap. Mm-hmm. Not so much my dad. He may have, but my mom would have said, "Can I go with you?"
Oh yeah. I would have kidnapped his mom.
She would have said, "Can I go with you guys?" Because I'm the only one of her children that have children. So she loved her babies, her grandbabies, and she would not have wanted that to happen. So if she was in really good health and didn't have, her outlook for life was another 15, 20 years or so, she would have come.
Yeah, and that was a huge factor for us in terms of, I listen, and I think I've said this story before. If you check out our playlist, you'll catch me saying it then too. I was ready to leave in 2011, 2012. I was ready to roll out. But Lamar wasn't on board at that time. And in hindsight, I would not have wanted to leave and take the grandkids away from my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, because they would have,
Yeah, they enjoy. I mean, if you could have seen Christmas with them, and the spoilage. The spoilage. So I mean,
rotten, just
so
rotten.
If you have that kind of family cohesiveness and the kids are, I'm gonna miss my grandma, then that's gonna be problematic, and that's when you would say to a relative, hey, can they come stay with you guys?
Or postpone the move.
Postpone your move.
That's what I would probably advise. Yeah. But I really would look at family, family dynamics to see if that is a factor, or if that would be something that might, make this trip or make that move a little difficult to adjust to. Right. And then it also depends on where are you moving to?
Yeah.
Because if you're in Texas and then moving across the border to to Mexico, to Monterrey, that's that ain't nothing but a drive or a quick plane trip.
Sure. Yeah.
But if you are in Texas and you're moving to Japan, that's a major shift.
Yeah, that is
major shift.
And that requires a 15-hour flight.
I can't even imagine what that trip would be like.
Yeah.
But that would give me pause in terms of, should we leave, or maybe we should wait, because the kids may need or may feel that loss of my interaction with my grandparents and all that kind of stuff. Now, that being said, if y'all aren't in the same vicinity way, that situation really only applies if your in-laws and family unit is right there where you are. But if you live on the East Coast and they live on the West Coast, and you want to move to another country, that changes the whole dynamic too. Because unless y'all were coast to coast hopping all the time, it's going to be the same kind of situation. Somebody's going to have to get on a plane to go see some grandkids. So, so that's why I also say on that, it depends. The other thing I usually bring up is, how often are you looking to go back to be with family? You really do have to have a plan for that, because there are going to be family events, births, deaths,
marriages,
birthdays, celebrations, graduations, all kinds of things that you're going to miss, that you might miss if you have a family abroad, and now you have to pack up everybody and buy 4 or 5 plane tickets to go back. It could be kind of pricey.
And also, if you like us, we have 3 dogs. We have to get someone as a house sitter to come and watch the dogs, and take care of them. So it becomes, you have a lot of logistical things that you have to go through in order to go back to home to visit.
And that can be kind of expensive. That can be definitely kind of expensive and devastating. I think we might have mentioned before on our channel, when my niece died, we were planning to go back for the funeral. We were at the airport and got bumped from our flight.
A lot of people got bumped, and there's a lot of angry people with
Volaris.
They're on my list.
Yeah, they are on my list as well.
Because that was ridiculous.
So we weren't able to make her funeral because we got bumped from our flight.
Yeah.
and to get another flight was going to cost us like an extra couple of thousands of dollars in order to go. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Yeah. Volaris, you are on my list still.
There was a lot of people that day that were going to
Pissed.
They were pissed.
Yeah, they were pissed.
Ooh, they was mad.
Yeah.
Ooh, they were mad.
Yeah, and we were mad.
Yeah.
And
sure.
we were mad. But again, those are things that you potentially are going to miss. Or, you know, my niece is having a baby.
Yeah.
One of my nieces is having a baby, and she
Baby showers this coming weekend.
I know, the baby showers this coming weekend. And so we had to kind of look at our budget and decide whether or not we were going to be able to make it for the baby shower or if we were going to be able to make it for the birth. Baby shower, birth, baby shower,
and
or the
then
birth.
right after that, there was something
And
else.
then
happening.
after that, we have to go back for my daughter's wedding. So we were kind of looking at that as well and having to be in the States and travel at Thanksgiving time.
Right.
Woo. Prime travel time is I just don't even want to see what them ticket prices are looking like.
Especially with the fuel the way it is right now, everything is jacked up.
Yes. So it's a matter. So those types of things you really have to now be very conscientious of and cognizant about, because you know you really have to take that into consideration, especially when you have a family.
Yeah.
And let's also throw in there that at this time, both our son and our youngest daughter returned to the United States they went back to go to school, and we'll speak more on that in a moment. And we're having to fly them back, or had to fly them back to the United States and all that kind of thing. So, and one of our friends, her daughter just came home for the summer
to visit.
So that's like something that you have to take into consideration when you're living abroad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the options were there for them too, because Querétaro has many great universities.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also United States universities not too far from here. Texas
State University and Arkansas State have English speaking, English accredited degree granting institutions right here in Mexico for a fraction of the cost. I mean, when I say a fraction of the cost, a fraction of the cost.
Yeah. That's one of our videos talking about education here in Mexico.
Check that video out.
The cost
as well.
and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those options are there. They chose not to.
Yeah, they chose to go back to school in the States. So, okay. But that's an expense that you now have to factor in, because they're outside of the United States and they're being more or less treated in some regards that they are international students because they've been living here in Mexico for the last couple of years, or what have you. And unless you have a family member or a way or a home still in the country so that you could be able to anchor their education to that particular home and claim in-state status or whatever, you got to think about those kinds of things, because in-state versus out-of-state can be a bear.
Yeah. And this is why it's very, very important for your kids to do well in school, to take SATs and things like that, to be able to and get scholarships, people looking at them. I want you to come, regardless of where they actually live. That makes a huge difference.
Okay, so I want to pause here on the conversation about kids to bring up an issue with our kids that your kids may also experience or what have you when they do go back to the United States. And this is not just our kids, but just in general. When your kids go back to the United States or from wherever country, and things go wrong, and you live outside of the country, trying to come to their rescue or to help. And there's sometimes your hands are tied.
Yeah.
Your hands are tied. In our situation with our kids, we were very explicit to our kids that, listen, you got a shot. You have a shot. Here's the pathway. You got a full tuition scholarship. You go, girl,
Right.
But when things go wrong, and inevitably with teenagers, college age kids,
young adults,
it will go wrong. You aren't able to be mama bear, papa bear, and get back to wherever they are.
And especially when your decision making and your actual responsibility is not so much taken away, but they're adults.
Oh yeah, they're adults. They're adults
now. And sometimes they don't want to listen to good counsel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an adult. I make my own decisions.
Right.
So that becomes a barrier that,
But that would be a barrier even if we were back in the United States.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. But it just makes a difference in terms of being able to get to someone if something goes wrong,
right.
Being able to get to them right away. So, I mean, that's something to consider.
Yes.
That am I the type that could be able to, is my kid the type that can be able to be independent and handle themselves? What's their maturity level?
Right.
The frontal lobe is flapping wide open, and these kids, they be doing stuff.
Yeah.
In the vernacular.
Yeah.
They be doing stuff. And so we want to caution or just make sure you're aware that, listen, the kids can be running amok back in the United States. And it's hard out here for a pimp in the United States anyway.
Sure enough.
So, that's something to kind of have to consider. It's frightening in some ways to look at what's going on with ICE and, driving while black was always a problem.
DWB.
Yeah. So, and now having your kids in states that, we have no family there or things like that can be kind of like, yikes.
Right.
But unless you have, the mental kind of capacity or expansion to be able to handle that kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's something where a parent has to really lean into faith,
trust God,
and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole idea of moving with your kids has its pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
And if your kid is, like we talked about earlier, they're adventurous or they're willing to be open to different things, then it would be great for them to move to either Mexico or wherever country you decide to be.
I saw tremendous growth in our son, he was the factor. He was the surprise factor in terms of, is this going to be an experience beneficial to him? And I knew it would be, because he just needed to see that there's more to the world than just this little box that you painted yourself into, and consider that there's more to life than what you just see on the block. He's almost the type that would probably get to he would be the guy that would move to a small town and would never leave the small town, and would never go nowhere, would never, go on vacation outside of maybe if you dragged him, he's that type. Not necessarily that he wouldn't enjoy such a thing, just because he just doesn't, or
he likes things.
Doesn't think.
He likes things regimented. He likes, get up, go to work, go home. It's like the old Dunkin' Donuts commercial. You get up, make the donuts, and then that kind of thing. And it's just chop, 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 chop. Same thing every day, in that same spot, never venturing out. I think.
But then when you put him outside of his element in something new, he's like, whoa,
Right.
wow,
Yeah.
whoa. So we knew ultimately he would be fine.
Yeah.
But it was just a matter of getting him to recognize that this is something, an experience for you that could be beneficial. Now, if your kid is one that would very well lean into it and lean fully into it, this can be an amazing time for them. You will see so much growth in their development, so much growth in their personalities, so much growth in them in terms of just their worldview, their ability to make friends. They just, it is tremendous to see them blossom in that way. Because I'm watching some of the expat kids that in our community that we grow up and are watching grow up before our eyes, and just seeing them like, wow,
right. They're part of the crew as far as school, their
Mhm.
friend groups and things like that. They hang out, they go to movies, they do all kinds of things together, and just like any other kids, they, it was, and more or less, the two things that separated them was the language and culture.
Mhm.
And
the culture wasn't that big of
they
a,
would-
it's not that big of a leap.
No.
It was mostly the language. And if our son had leaned into learning Spanish ahead of time, like we were trying to get him to do, and learning Spanish while he was here, then it would have made his adaptation to the Spanish culture.
It was
so
interesting.
much
He was going
better.
up in the other neighborhood we lived in. There was a basketball court and play area. He would ride his bike up there after he finished schoolwork, and and he met a cute girl. And I said, "Well, why aren't you talking?" She spoke Spanish. I said, "Well, still, if she was interested in you, make the effort, and maybe she could have helped you with your Spanish, and you could
didn't stop your older sister, and that's why she's getting married."
Yeah, you could have helped her with English, and it could have been a cross-pollination of interest and languages and culture. He was, so.
Yeah.
But
that's his personality also.
Yeah.
So he tends to be a little bit of an introvert in that way. And speaking of that, that's another thing, another reason, another plug for knowing your kid. Because if you have a kid that's very extroverted and all that kind of stuff, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But if you have an introverted kid, you may have to do more in terms of getting them connected to the expat or immigrant type communities that exist in that particular area. You might have to do some legwork. Now with our oldest child she's not an introvert at all. She was fine, absolutely fine, no problem. Our youngest one, she's who would you say? She's introvert?
No, she's not an introvert. I mean, well,
she has friends.
She had friends.
Yeah.
They hung out, spent time together, did kid things like going to the OXO here, like
going to the movies, going to hang out, things like that, hanging out at each other's house, sleepovers, hanging out, things, that type of thing. Typical teen type behavior or what have you. She's a different, that's a whole nother conversation about our youngest. But in terms of knowing your kid, knowing if they have that capacity to, walk into a room and sit down with people and make friends and not be so self-conscious. I mean, they're teenagers, so they're going to be self-conscious anyway.
Right.
But having them get outside of themselves to, make new friends and learn a language and practice speaking the language with their friends and all that kind of stuff. You really kind of got to know your kid in that way to know, yeah, you're gonna be fine. You can do that. You do good at that,
Absolutely.
And if the child already knows the language, that's more than half of the battle right there.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, sports, I mean, you've got soccer here, they play basketball here, they play American football here.
Mhm.
Because our neighbors, their kids play football. Um, so there's sports and things for them to participate in. So, those are, I guess, activities that they need language, but if you know the sport, if you can play soccer, then that will give them an in to speaking the language, hearing the language, and things like that. So,
And then also knowing what their hobbies are and getting, finding those resources plugged into that. If you have a child who loves to dance, looking in the community to find out what communities have great dance programs.
and they have
gymnastics, ice skating.
Ice skating, they do have.
All the things are here in Querétaro.
Yeah, so don't think that because we live in a warm climate that they don't have ice skating, because it's at the mall.
Yeah,
It's
there's
at the mall.
a couple places.
The one in Pachuca, at that mall. When we went to.
When we went up to Pachuca?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The mall there's a skating rink in the mall.
Yeah.
So, they have, those types of activities that are, that your child can participate in.
Now, it may take you doing some legwork, of course, and I would always recommend doing extensive legwork ahead of time so that you can make their transition a lot easier, a lot smoother, to just aid in that transition. Because we had done our homework, because we had done a lot of the reaching out to community and getting plugged into the local scene and all that kind of thing, we had boots on ground. We had a lot of resources available to us at our fingertips to make the kids transition a little smoother and easier. So as transitions go, ours was good. It was a very easy, smooth, less stress. It wasn't very stressful.
No, because we got here in July. We did some sightseeing, getting to know Querétaro, going down to Centro, doing all those kind of things. We chose school, and they started school, and they were off to the races. And Ben did his schoolwork, and when he realized, do my schoolwork and go out, have fun, hang out with my friends, he started making sure he got his work done, make sure everything was done. I think that for us, I think that because they were already online, pretty much when we left, I mean, they were back to school in person a little bit when we left, but when we left in 2022, it wasn't a far switchback for them.
Right. They had only been for some months, and I would dare say, especially for our youngest, she did better on online school than she did in person. Because once she was in person, it was the girl battles and he said and she said and she doesn't like me and mean girl type, all those types of things. So it was kind of an easy transition for us with the kids
because her friend interaction didn't happen until after and outside of school, which didn't bring too much of that element into the learning environment.
And so she was able to keep that, and which is again why she was able to do very well academically and graduated from a very good online high school. If you want a recommendation, hit us up in the comments below. I'll give you that recommendation.
Yeah.
It was good, and we were able to travel and go to various parts of Mexico,
and they could still be in school and do their schoolwork
and have fun. That first year was fabulous. It was great. We had so many great family memories, which is exactly what I wanted, which is exactly the thing that I wanted to show, particularly our son. I wanted him to experience the culture. I wanted him to experience, this other world that you've never seen before, eating food you've never heard of before, seeing fruit that you've never seen. That
the experience for us being down on the peninsula and going to cenotes and doing that kind of thing, and we went horseback riding and Puerto Vallarta,
zip lining
and all that kind of stuff. We had a great time. You know, I think that because Ben is a water child, he loves to go in the water, swimming and all that. He enjoyed the cenotes. He enjoyed those immensely.
The cenotes in the Yucatan.
Yes.
He was in heaven.
Yeah.
But had we stayed in the DC area and never done those types of things, he would have never gotten to experience that.
No.
And if I'd have let him, he would have stayed in that box. And that was definitely one box that I did not want him to stay in.
I really believe that it makes a huge difference for children if they get to experience different things. And not just, you know, have chocolate and vanilla and strawberry ice cream.
Right.
You know, you go out and get some peach, you get some orange sherbet, you get some raspberry, you get, you know, different flavors, and you go out and say, oh, that's this. I liken it to motorsports. I remember the children coming down to Baltimore when the Indy cars came, and the young black kids got acclimated or got to experience motorsports and seeing engineers and how cars are designed, because they let the kids go down into the pit areas that were in the garage, and they were totally fascinated. And it opens their eyes up to different things than just basketball and football. And you don't have to be a race car driver to be in that kind of environment. You can be a designer, engineer, a strategist,
right?
Those kind of things. I saw it in DC when racing came there, and it makes a difference when you expose your children to different types of things. There's all kinds of things in the world that you can experience, and I think it opens their mind and helps the learning experience. It starts the juices flowing and say, what can I be?
Right. And I'm always been a proponent of traveling abroad with your children. Our oldest she was in Ethiopia, the British Virgin Islands, the Bahamas. She didn't come to Costa Rica with us. No, she didn't come to Costa Rica with us. But the Dominican Republic, and
she's been to England.
England, yes, Scotland, and now here in Mexico. So she has a well-rounded view of the world, and that has helped her immensely in her journey, or what have you. And we'll see that the two younger ones, we'll see what happens. They're still, one is now 21, the other just turned 20. And so, frontal lobes are still flapping, y'all. Pray for them.
Yes. Oh, look. Hi, Katrina.
Hey, Katrina.
What's going on?
Hey, girl. Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's very interesting to see how they adapted to just the whole change of Mexico. Now, I will say this, that after our son graduated from high school and let us know, yes, I'm going to go back to college. I'm going to go to college in the United States. Okay. Like I promised him, just give me a year. And after that year, if you want to go back to the United States, I will drive you to the airport. And we kept our promise.
She drove him, flew with him.
Yeah.
And drove him to college.
Yep.
She sure did.
Yeah. So, I kept my promise, kept my word.
Yeah.
And all of that kind of thing. He's now, do you think he has buyer's regret about returning to the United States?
I think that there's some there. It's going to take a while for it to actually fully come out, but I think he has a little some buyer's remorse on that, for making that choice.
Yeah. But, que sera.
I mean, you live and you learn. I mean, and I've shared this with the family about, things I watch. There was a therapist that talked about the fact that a lot of people have to learn through experience, through pain,
Yeah.
versus someone actually telling you. It's like, especially for young people, it's, and I was like that a little bit.
Were you?
A little bit, not too much. I listened to my parents. I listened to my grandmother. I listened to people in the hometowns of my parents that, you know, gave me advice and things on how to behave and to interact with people.
Yeah.
I think that right now the kids, as your sister has said, that these 2000 kids are a little different, and so they I know for a fact that our kids think that they're supposed to know certain things because they think they're in the Matrix, and you know,
they just plug in and I automatically know jujitsu.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
I watched a movie once and I know jujitsu.
Right.
Like what? Like
no, and that's not how it works. So
yeah.
Some people just have to learn through experience these days, and you can't tell them they have to. It's you know, like my mom would say to me, I guess I have to let life teach you.
Now, for our next month, our next live, we will be telling you guys all about the process to become permanent residents, because we are about to become permanent residents of Mexico. Within a few days from now.
Yes.
We will be permanent residents of Mexico.
Yes.
Our children had the opportunity as well to be permanent residents of Mexico as well. They were told when they left, make sure that you set aside time to come back to Mexico in June of 2026, because that's when we're going to do the transition to become permanent. And you can go back to the United States if you want, but at least you'll always be able to come to Mexico and live here permanently if you so choose. You know, even if you're 48 years old and you decide I want to move to Mexico.
And you got that card and you can come to the border and say,
bing,
I belong here. And you do, and come right on in, because there's no requirement for you to live in Mexico.
Right. Did they do that?
No.
Did they keep their passports updated like mommy said?
Mines were on other things. Priorities are strange with children.
So we will see how they, you know, that's going to be something that's not available to them. But next month, we will be, this month, in a few weeks, in a few days, we will be,
permanent residents.
We'll be permanent residents of Mexico. So we will bring you guys all that. Lisa, you're planning a scouting trip to Querétaro next year with 2 kids. Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Come on. Querétaro is a great city for coming here with kids. It's a great city to live with kids. The Mexican culture in and of itself is, I feel, a really great culture. And one of the reasons that I fell in love with Mexico, and Querétaro in particular, is I love how they treat their elderly and the love that they have for their kids.
Yes.
It's very obvious. The culture is very centered in that way.
And family, and especially, you know, even though they do have facilities for elderly people here, a lot of elderly moms and dads stay at home with their children.
That's the way it is.
And we see them out in the afternoons as their daughter, son take their mom or their dads out to get some fresh air for a walk.
Take them for a walk, and they'll have the little arm, and they're walking with the little abuela.
Yeah.
You know, it's so cute.
Yes.
It's so.
As a matter of fact, where were we yesterday? Or we saw it. One of the places when we went, and
we were scouting for wedding places.
Yes, and a young lady was with her mom. It was at the Flamingo, and she was walking with her mom.
Yes.
And she, you know, walking up the street with her mom. They were going shopping. They had just come from the restaurant, and you see this a lot here in Mexico, which is fantastic.
You do, and the way they, you know, take care of their kids and even dogs. You know, very much. Querétaro is a fantastic city. And if I might also put in a shameless plug for Querétaro. Querétaro is a great landing place if you are looking for a place to live that gives you the best, I feel, of both worlds. You very much get the colonial vibe. It's in the heart of Mexico. So
Yes.
coming here and expecting to always only speak English is not a thing.
No.
You will speak Spanish. There will be a lot of people who will try to, help or may even know some English too and try to speak to you as
But
well.
they give you grace, especially
They
if
do.
they see you actually putting forth the effort to
They do.
speak the language
They
and
do.
understand. And you speak a little bit or more, and as you, I'm waiting and I'm hoping for myself as I'm learning words in Spanish that at some point in time it's going to go and it's going to click over. And instead of me having to think about the words, they'll just come falling out of my mouth.
Yeah, you just have to just do it.
Yeah.
It's the risk of sounding dumb.
Yeah.
But it's a part of learning language is sounding dumb.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. I mean,
And that
in
is
reverse,
okay.
there are people who are native Spanish speakers who are learning English who will say to you, I'm sorry, my English is not that
And
great.
their English is fine.
It's fine. Some are better than others, but their English is better than my Spanish.
Yeah.
So I hope to get to the point where they can say, your Spanish is pretty good. It's not that, you're getting there. So
Yeah. And I'm able to, now that we've been here 4 years,
yes,
I'm able to definitely understand a lot more of what is said. And I'm letting go of my inhibition about sounding dumb and speaking. And that's actually helping too. And then it doesn't hurt to have a Mexican son-in-law that, I can now practice my Spanish with. And his entire family speaks no English. So we are forced to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So that helps. That definitely helps. Did you have any other thing? Okay. Like we always say, we like to keep you for a good time, not a long time. We like to answer the question and get in and get out.
Yes.
So that we don't keep you for a long time.
I think it's, how do you say her? Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
It's Lissa.
Oh, Lissy on the journey?
Lissy. Listen, just hit us up.
Yes.
And we will definitely be willing to help out.
Absolutely.
Two kids.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
Yes.
When there are people who are coming to Querétaro scouting, let us know that you're coming and we will definitely hook up with you.
Yes.
So that we can either show you around or just, give you some information or some pointers or invite you to come to one of our Black in Querétaro meetups. We meet a lot and do a lot of things like going to the movies and going out to dinner and going out
we went to see Michael.
Yeah, oh yeah. And going out to dancing events and
Yes.
karaoke and, card games, game night. We do a lot of kinds of things.
Yes.
And it's a nice, very strong community here in Querétaro.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It was great seeing you guys. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming to visit with us.
Indeed.
Yes. It's a little hot here right now. We're hopefully getting into rainy season here, so it'll cool off. But but it hasn't been as bad as it was.
It was definitely not as bad as it was last year.
Last year was
not as bad.
It wasn't Merida.
Oh, it's not Merida hot.
No. Merida's hell. No, I'm just kidding. But it is hot in Merida. It's humid and extremely hot.
If you look in our channel, our contact information is in there, our email is in there, and it typically is lamarandangela@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Just hit us up.
Yep.
And we would love to give you information, show you around, or even if there's some places that you want us to check out ahead of time before you get down here, like I heard about XYZ neighborhood, hit us up. We might be able to, we more than likely have the information for you.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
All right, guys.
Okay. Take care. Have a
Thanks.
great evening.
Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.